Hello, welcome to Just Add Juice, a podcast where mom life meets business building. I'm your host, Brittany Hunter, virtual assistant and mom to a sweet baby girl. Today I want to go over one of my top tips for staying consistent. I know how difficult it can be, especially as a busy mom, when you're running around trying to accomplish everything there is to do around the house, whatever you're doing. Adding business building on top of everything else there is to do can be stressful and feel impossible. So one of the things that has actually worked for me is to minimalize your to-do list. And that means not to try to accomplish as much as possible every single day. And while it can seem like it might take you forever to reach your goals, if you're not trying to do as much as possible, as quickly as possible, it's actually going to help you reach your goals even faster because it's giving you realistic, tiny goals every single day. So let's say one day you are able to spend hours working on your business, getting as much done as you possibly can. That's great. And some days you may want to take advantage of some extra free time you have to work on this, but I want to encourage you to not have the expectations that that's realistic every single day. I'd rather you look at your to-do list and think, okay, cool, I can get this done today. I can take care of that task during nap time. I can take care of that task after they go to bed. Something like that. Then look at your to-do list and be completely overwhelmed, not know where to start. And then you get to the end of the day and you feel exhausted and you know you don't have the time or energy to commit to building your business. Because I've definitely been there where I have listed everything that I want to get done maybe for the week. And I've separated it into Monday I'm going to work on this, Tuesday I'll work on this, etc. If I was a little too ambitious with that to-do list, there are some days where I might look at that list and I might only have a half hour to focus on my business. And if I look at an overwhelming list, I'm going to feel like, okay, I can't work on my business today. And then I'll end up skipping the day when I could have actually gotten something really small done. So that's one aspect of it. Try focusing on tiny tasks at a time. And you might want to assume that you only have a half hour a day to work on your business. That way you can separate your tasks, and when you look at your to-do list and you only have a half hour, you think, oh, okay, perfect. I can get like these two small things done. At least I can cross them off the list, even though I'm not getting a ton of work done or making as much progress as I would like. And if you know that you have 1 hour or 2 hours that day, you'll look at your list and think, cool, okay, let me get this done. Those are figured out. Okay, let me try to tackle tomorrow's list. You're much more likely to get more done than what's on your list if you have a short list than if you have a long list where it just overwhelms you. Because sometimes the biggest hurdle when it comes to working on your business is just getting started. And that doesn't necessarily mean getting started at the very beginning. Sometimes it just means getting started for that day. Because there are going to be days where you don't feel motivated. There are going to be days when you don't have the energy, where you have limited time, where you have doctor's appointments, errands to run, things like that. But continuing to make forward progress on your goals is super important because it's going to motivate you to keep going. It's going to help you build momentum. And that momentum is super important when it comes to a big goal like building a business. Making that forward progress every day, or at least most days of the week, is also going to help you build a habit. And it's much easier to keep a consistent schedule if that's something that you're doing every day, or like I said, most days. So maybe you start getting used to waking up earlier in the morning before the kids wake up to get 15 minutes in. Maybe you get used to working on your business during nap time instead of watching a TV show or playing a game on your phone. And maybe you get used to spending 15-20 minutes working on your business after you put the kids to bed. That habit is also going to help you pull through and get more done in your business. And of course, you can't deny the fact that every day can look very different when you're a mom. Sure, you can have a schedule so that you know what to expect on different days, like a bedtime, a nap time, things like that. But you also have to be open to things not going exactly how you plan. Because of course there's going to be days where your kid is sick or they refuse to go down for a nap, or maybe they're fussy because they are teething and it's just really hard to get them to bed. That's another reason why it's important to be realistic when you're planning out your days and making that to-do list. Because again, I'd rather you tackle one tiny task that takes you 5 minutes to do than to expect yourself to do an hour's worth of work when it just doesn't pan out, when it just isn't realistic for you to do. Then on top of everything else, we're humans. We're not going to have the same amount of energy every single day. Some days we're going to be extra tired or low energy, and there may or may not be a real reason for it. So you definitely want to make sure you're not being too hard on yourself on the days where you're struggling a little bit more than usual. Minimalizing your to-do list, being realistic with yourself, taking your big goals and breaking them into really tiny baby steps. This is all going to help you stay more consistent, and it'll help you make progress on your business even when you think you don't have the time or you wish you had more time. This is actually how I've done pretty much anything in my business. I have to be realistic with myself, and I have to also know that I'm going to want to enjoy life. I'm going to want to spend quality time with my baby. I'm going to want to just enjoy my time. I also know that there are going to be things that I just have to get done every day, whether it's for a client or for my baby or for the house. So being realistic with myself has helped me feel good in the process and actually keep going forward, even when it might be a struggle too. Also, if you're anything like me, you hate the idea of having things left unchecked at the end of the day when you have a to-do list. So if I have 5 things written down and I only got to do 2 of them, I do not like that I was only able to check off 2 of those things. Versus if I have only 2 things written down on my to-do list, if I'm able to check those off, that's great. I feel accomplished for the day. I feel like I was being productive, and I can either move on or I can add to that list. Like, hey, I also did this and I also did that. And so that's just kind of a mindset trick that I was able to do, just because I realized that that was something that actually affected my mood. I didn't like being disappointed in myself for just having these things that always have to roll over onto the next day. So it's important to just feel good as you're building your business, because that's another way that it's going to allow you to keep going. You're going to be excited to move forward and excited to see the progress you make. And then even though it's little by little, you're going to look back in a few weeks, a few months, and if you've actually stayed consistent, you're going to realize how far you've come in that time, even doing little things every single day. And again, it doesn't have to be every single day things come up, but as you go, just get used to what works for you. So maybe it's going to be every Monday through Friday, you'll set aside time to work on your business. Maybe it needs to be only 5 days a week or 4 days a week, whatever it is. Just stay consistent on something that actually works for you. And that's a big theme here. Everyone's lives look different. You can take all the advice, but just make it work for you. Because the most important part is that you can actually accomplish your goals. And the only way you're going to do that is by figuring out what you can do in a schedule that works for you based on what's going on in your life. So I hope this helps you see that you don't have to fill your days with tasks in order to feel productive and make progress on your goals. Be realistic with yourself, with the time you have. Minimize that to-do list into steps that you know will work around your schedule, and just keep going little by little. That's all it takes. Thanks so much for joining me today. Tackling big goals in baby steps is really all it takes. Let's do this.